Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with a really important video that isn't just for booksellers, but it's mostly for book collectors and book readers, people like us that love reading. So guys, this one is actually about bookmarks, and guys, I've seen some crazy things be used as bookmarks through the years. This one right here is actually a piece of newspaper that someone was using as a bookmark, and it's from the year 1939, so it's a little bit older than most of us here. It's from November 17th, so I think that's sort of cool. The particular book that this one was in was from 1920. But with that said though guys, I actually have a little stack of books right here, all of which have newspaper that was used as their bookmarks or other such paper products. But guys, I'm saying all this because just because it's paper doesn't mean it's a good bookmark. Just because it's not paper doesn't mean it's a good bookmark. There are a lot of things that you guys have to consider if you're using a bookmark for the longer term sort of storage things. There are a lot of people like me who will use whatever they can find as a bookmark. In fact, excuse me really quick, I have a book right here that I'm reading. Let me get it out of the slipcase. I have a book right here that I'm reading, and I'm actually using a dollar bill as my bookmark right here. So obviously, I'm just as much of a sinner as a lot of us as far as using the wrong things for bookmarks goes. But when you guys are dealing with books and you're using bookmarks, yeah, if you're reading through the book, you can use basically whatever you want. Let's be honest, it's not going to cause too much damage. But when you have a book and you're leaving the bookmark in there for an extended period of time, it actually can cause damage. And guys, right now I'm just going to walk you guys through some of the damage that you can see. One such piece of damage that I normally see, excuse me as I fiddle through this, is actually clothespins, paper clips. I've seen so many people use paper clips. In fact, this set of books that this came from, it's like 200 books or so. They had so many paper clips like marking all the different pages. And guys, when you have paper clips doing that, the paper clips get jostled around, they get bent, they do all these sorts of things, and that actually ends up bending and tearing the paper. And that's definitely not something that you want to have happen. It causes damage to the book. I've also seen people use like literal pens, like, you know, safety pens, but like the before safety pens, the ones that have just the little I'm going to call it a circle on the end, the sphere on the end, and then just a needle. People used to use those as markings for a lot of things in books. There are so many old books that I've been through, guys, that have just tiny little holes through them because people used pens as their bookmarks, which was interesting. But what I see most of the time is going to be a paper or paper product, paper-like product. But guys, as you guys can see right here, here's just lined paper. This particular book that it's coming from is from 1920. Obviously, this does not necessarily mean that paper's from 1920, but look at that right there, guys. Look at that discoloration that you got from this piece of paper right here. In fact, you guys can actually see the part of the paper that was sticking out and what wasn't sticking out. It's darker on top than it is down here. And that's because I guess at some point it was all the way up here. In fact, you can see a little tear right here of where it was hanging out, but eventually got pushed down. And all this discoloration, guys, I can't get rid of that. That is there forever because someone used the improper bookmark. And I'm just going to rant to you guys a little bit more as I show you a couple more instances of this. This is something that's very important for you guys if you are doing books selling on your own, or if you have your own book collections that are old. If you find old bookmarks, I mean, look at this. Who made this as a bookmark? But if you find old bookmarks and things, be sure to take them out as soon as you can because they can cause discoloration. Look at this one. It's not as bad as the last one, but it still is discolored. In fact, I know I just ranted to you guys about how terrible this one is. I don't even know what this is. It's some sort of cardstock I just ripped in half. It looks like it used to be like something to do with... Oh, it's gum wrappers, like a gum box. That's funny, I think. That's weird. On to this next one. Just another piece of paper. This one's another lined paper. Luckily, this lined paper doesn't look like it was potentially in this book as long, or potentially it's similar paper because this one's 1929. This series, guys, this set of books was made over from 1889 is the earliest one that I saw. No, 1880 is the oldest one that I saw. And the newest one I have, I want to say, is from the 60s or something like that. I think they kept on making these, but that's just as far as this particular set goes. But guys, as you guys can see, this page is discolored as well, thanks to the bad paper that was used. And I'm sure you guys, some of you are wondering, wait, but all my bookmarks are paper. What's wrong with this? So guys, something that has to do with the pages getting discolored like this is certain kinds of papers have certain things in them. In this case, I would assume that these papers are more acidic, and that's an acidic thing, or possibly it's not Potentially it's too basic or alkali, which is another thing that can happen. Basically, what you guys want to do is get something that is as neutral of a paper as possible. Of course, I'm not telling you guys to go spend $1 million doing it, but there are a lot of things that you guys can do. Right here we have another bit of newspaper. This one's talking about a coroner from, oh, it doesn't say the year on this one. That's a bummer. I saw a number though. But this one I think is the worst discoloration yet. And guys, again, this set has like over 200 books in it that I have, and there are so many bookmarks that were used throughout this that discolored pages, but there were also quite a few that did not. Believe it or not, I have a whole bunch of like vintage post-it notes, like the actual Triple M post-it notes that are like the original ones. I want to say the ones that I saw were most likely like some of the earlier ones that they made. So let's just say, to be a little more conservative, let's say these are from the 1980s. These particular ones, they were in there for, it's 2023 right now, they were in there for 40 years, and they did not actually cause any discoloration of the paper, which I think is quite interesting. However, that being said, don't just throw any kind of post-it note in there. I have seen so many of the colored post-it notes that are the non-name brand ones. I'm talking like the ones you pick up at Dollar Tree that are all the pastel pretty ones. I've seen people use those, and those end up having all their ink, their like bright pink ink, get into the pages. That's something that'll cause damage. So guys, all this is to say, I'm not going to tell you guys exactly what to use as bookmarks or not use as bookmarks, but all this is to say that when you are marking up, when you are marking your place in a book, be sure to at least consider what your marking might be doing to the book, what kind of negative things can happen. For me, if I was going to be really sort of type A and crazy about this, I would go and buy like some sort of conservative paper sort of thing that's actually going to be pH neutral, and like use that and cut it up into all the different shapes I want. I'd do something like that. Or potentially I'd buy some really nice bookmarks that are for old books. But let's face it, at the end of the day, 99.9% of us are going to just put the bookmark in the book as we read through, and then we're going to take it out when we're done. So obviously this is not going to be a big issue for a lot of us, but for those of us who are buying, selling, collecting all these different books, I highly, highly, highly recommend taking these stupid papers out before it causes any more discoloration to the paper. If you are like me, a lot of the antique books that I have in my shop, I end up hanging on to those for a year, a couple years. I have some books, guys, that I have from when I first started. Those are probably not the best example because those are just slow sellers that might not sell at all. But I do have some books, guys, that just need a little bit more time to sell. I have a lot of books that about the 1.5 year mark is where a lot of the books that I end up I end up selling those after about 1.5 years. And if I have these things here that are ruining the pages as I wait, maybe that 1.5 years could be the difference between leaving a pretty obvious mark or one that's not obvious at all. It's something that you guys definitely will have to consider and deal with in your business, in your collection, all that sort of stuff. So with that said and done though, guys, I hope that was helpful. Unfortunately, I do not know of any possible way to get rid of the discoloration in the papers. Of course, if I ever figure that out, I will share that with you guys. But there's a lot of other information, tips, and tricks that I have on my channel. So if you guys would like, you could subscribe up there, or you guys could check out one of my other videos. Please be sure to drop a like also while you're here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.